Welcome everybody to the Horizontal. We are back. It is season 1, episode 9, and this is the first podcast where we actually have a football league. No, NFL is back, baby. Got a mid of week 2, going into week 3 now. Took a month off hiatus. We are back. Niko, you are joining me this week. Welcome.
Yeah, so glad to be back. Glad we can get back in action here on the horizontal.
Absolutely. All that talk with the draft finally coming to fruition, and now we have some results on our hands. And
Yeah, league,
learned
we're
a
about to
lot.
head into week 3, so quite a bit has happened so far.
Yeah, I mean, you got 6-1-1 teams, a 2-0 team, and 0-2. So obviously, two games into it, no one's ever gonna be out of it. But
True.
it's 6-1-1 team, so it's still very close right now. A lot of transactions being made.
It is very close, and I'm not sure if anybody really quite stands out far amongst the rest, and I'm not sure if anybody's really far below anybody else either.
No, not even
Our draft was pretty
close.
balanced.
Yeah, definitely. And part of the reason we've been seeing everything so close is everyone's been like hit by inconsistency with, I would say, a lot of top performers, usually previous years, are underperforming, I would say.
Yeah, I agree, especially just because of, well, there's been some big injuries, as well as some of the guys who are usually kind of towards the top haven't really kind of been up to par. And a lot of the guys who are kind of towards the top in the most points so far are a lot of guys you won't quite expect.
Yeah, I, it's been weird. Um, People can go back and forth with the blame it too. One thing I've noticed a lot is it just seems like every offense out there has been underprepared, I would say. Um,
As far as the NFL goes,
yeah, so like obviously what happens in the NFL affects fantasy.
true.
So when you think about it, um, they got rid of. I mean, this has been a couple years now, but it's gonna come up every year, and I'm gonna bring it up every year. They got rid of practice time
Right.
and the preseason.
hmm
Look how bad the offensive line's been playing for most teams.
Yeah, I saw a lot of kind of sloppy football, especially week 1. I didn't really get to watch some of the games week 2, but week 1 when I was watching at your house, there was like a lot of kind of a lot of bad offensive line, quarterbacks getting sacked, a lot of offenses not looking really prepared.
Yeah, the line. If you can't get any blocking, how are these plays supposed to develop? How are you supposed to work on these in-game situations?
hmm
The defense is, yeah, you need to be prepared for defense, but you know what? You're going after the quarterback, you're going after the quarterback. You're going to find a way there.
Yeah,
These linemen have to work on schemes, make sure that they get the quarterback's direction, which play is going to be.
right.
Too many factors into it to get such little practice time. And quite frankly, if the team is hurting itself, like just getting sacked all the time,
Mm.
how are these top players going to get the reps? They're not.
Yeah,
And it's killing them. I mean,
right. Who are some of our? I mean, what do I mean? I guess right off the bat here, David Johnson's going to be out for the year with a big injury.
yeah, that one's unfortunate. That was,
And,
I guess, a free case.
and who
I
else
forget.
was in the first round?
Well, Le'Veon Bell for myself,
Right.
he got 7 points the first week, and then, um, 13?
For my side, Brady obviously had an awesome week 2, but week 1 he only gave me 10 points, and I wasn't expecting him to score really below 20 for any game this year. So that was definitely a disappointing start to my year.
Not even like the high picks too. Where like just think about like it was we just mentioned before, like the Bengals and Giants.
Oh yeah.
How bad they've been playing.
Oh yeah.
Andy Dalton got negative
Yep.
6 points.
Andy Dalton's got like 3 points for you on the year. Am I right?
Yeah, 3 points in 2 games. Uh,
Is that affecting AJ Green's points?
oh, absolutely. Um, if Brian was here, he could definitely assure you that he was expecting a little bit more from him so far.
Right. I mean,
I
they
mean,
haven't even scored a touchdown yet, right?
no, that's another thing too.
Right.
They have not even scored a touchdown,
Yep.
and, which is 2 games. I mean, that's a pretty decent sample
Yeah, and there's
size.
been some offenses that have struggled just because of bad quarterbacking play, and that obviously trickles down. For me personally, Andrew Luck's been out for the Colts, and T.Y. Hilton, I don't think he scored in the double digits for me yet. I think he had like 6 and then 8. And I guess I knew Luck was going to be out kind of to start the year, but the quarterbacking play in Indianapolis has been terrible. And then even for the Cardinals, Carson Palmer hasn't been playing too great, and then obviously they lost Johnson, so it's a little bit more pressure on everybody else. But Fitzgerald hasn't really been kind of as good as he has been either. So there's plenty of cases like that around the league.
It just like people like. I think this is the hardest part about drafting is it's not just about the player; it's about what team he's on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the problem is, it's not like we're at basketball where you kind of know what teams are going to be good every year, just because it's more individualized game. Where football takes all 11 guys on the field at a time. Look at the NFC. Was it South? Yeah, they have a division winner different every
Right,
year.
that
You
changes
just don't
all
know
the
who's going to be
time.
good.
Yep.
And
No.
clearly, if you're good, you're gonna have good fantasy players because you're gonna have put up numbers. No one's winning 10-6 anymore and gonna go 14-2. It's just not gonna happen. You're gonna go 14-2 by scoring 35 points. That's what's exactly gonna happen. And I even think of the Seahawks. I mean, look how bad they are right now. I mean, Russell Wilson. We saw how high he was ranked in the
Yeah.
draft.
Oh yeah.
It had him projected throwing over 4,000. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe close to 20, 25, 30 touchdowns.
Oh yeah. Fantasy wise, he's been underwhelming as well.
And his line's awful. And then they have a running back by committee. So I mean I know Chris Carson might break out, but like people thought Lacey might be the guy. Yeah, Rawls.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have quite a bit to figure out offensively. And I know you've been a little bit disappointed in Jimmy Graham.
Oh, he had one catch for 1 yard
Yeah.
last week. I was kind of hoping just didn't catch
And he
any.
didn't do too much week one either, right?
No, he had like 3 points. It was shocking.
Well, to
I mean,
talk about tight end struggles, I had Greg Olson, who's been, consistent his whole career. The first week he didn't give me much, and then week two he had like one catch before he went out, and now he's out for the year. That's the first time he's missed a game since his rookie year in 2007. So that was a little bit disappointing to lose. But luckily, I have Zach Ertz, who I use at the flex. He's my backup tight end. He's
oh,
looking
good
pretty.
call.
He's looking pretty good so far. So he's going to be my starting tight end, I guess, from here on out. But kind of just around the league, there have been definitely some big injuries that might not necessarily be long term, but have already kind of played a factor. Last week when I played Alex, Jordy Nelson went down for him. Jordan Howard went down.
Yeah, right.
So
And all the struggles and the uncertainty we're seeing in the teams and in the injuries, I think, have caused everyone in the league, I would say, to make more transactions than they would hope for
that's
so
also a
far.
good point. I also think that's kind of just the dynamic of our league a little bit, and kind of just the attitude of a lot of the people that we have is that I think a lot of people are the type to get a little bit nervous kind of fast. And I think a lot of people in the young season so far have kind of panicked a little bit about their draft and are worried really about their team and they've been making a lot of moves. But maybe that's the way to go. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because, I mean,
it's
everybody's definitely really on top of their stuff. If someone has like a big catch or someone like rushes for a long touchdown, they're getting picked up the next second.
yeah. I look on Sunday
The
afternoon
guys
and
are
they're already
never
picked up.
around. So,
I it's 18 league.
it's
It's scarce.
it's very tough. Yeah, the free agent wire is always very, very, very thin. And I know our rosters are pretty deep, so to begin with, they were pretty thin. But, guys get picked up just like that. And if I'm right, have we made the least amount of transactions in the league?
Um, I think I made another move,
Oh, okay.
so I think
Well, I know
I'm
you're
not
towards the
last.
bottom.
I had 5 moves. Um, I think you're tied. Yeah, you're tied with Alex.
Yeah,
You and Alex have 4
I have
moves. I have
four.
5.
I mean, I don't know what the way to go really is. It's not like I've, won a championship in the last few years, so I don't know. Maybe that's the way to do it now is to just kind of keep kind of shuffling through your bench team and kind of always going with the hot guy. I don't know. But it's definitely a really big thing in our league.
Yeah, especially quarterbacks. You cannot
Oh,
find a
they're
quarterback
impossible
right now.
now. I mean, I know Jared Goff and Joe Flacco both just kind of got picked up fairly recently, and I'm not sure if there's any starting quarterbacks in the free agents
Brissett.
because the last ones I saw were like Joe Flacco, and then he got picked up too. So
Yeah, everyone's looking for that third quarterback, and some teams second.
yeah,
And
I think a lot of teams are kind of struggling for the third quarterback. And I think that some teams are struggling for a second quarterback. I think some of the quarterbacking play has been a little bit down so far this year.
yeah, and that
It's only
ties
week, we're only going into week 3, but
it ties into how bad the teams are playing.
right.
And now it's like at a point where you have your second quarterback and he's been playing well, and now you want that third quarterback so you can play matchup wise. If your quarterback's playing the Saints, you're gonna start him,
Yeah.
even though if your second quarterback's a
Right.
little
I
bit
mean, in your
better.
case, you're going with Cutler this week for the matchup instead of Dalton, right?
Yeah, because Dalton against the Packers is something I don't want to mess with,
Right.
especially at Lambeau, and Color against the Jets. I mean, what are you gonna choose there?
Yeah, and I think a lot of teams are kind of in your situation where their second quarterback is kind of by matchup.
Yeah, it's and even like a team like Josh. I mean, I do like the Mariota Cousins combo, but he's got to
Cousins
be a
is
little disappointed.
yeah.
You know?
I'm not totally sure what Mariota's put up week 1 and 2, but I know Cousins and the Redskins' offense has been disappointing. I have Crowder, Jamison Crowder's on my bench. He hasn't really done much this, so far. I know Terrell Pryor hasn't done too much so far,
Right, right. Um,
and that should be a good offense. Cousins threw for a lot of yards last year, top 5.
yeah, I was even playing Josh last week. I mean, you know, like even the Cowboys. We thought.
That's true.
I know. I guess it was the Broncos. It was tough
I
credit,
know.
but like,
I had the Broncos defense. I was a little worried about them going up against the Cowboys offense. They did
mm,
nothing.
yeah. I mean, Zeke ran for nothing. Nick must
Yeah.
have been pissed about that. And Dez, I had a good game, but like, you know, that guy could break out for 2 or 3 touchdowns whenever.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the key to playing against the Cowboys is if you got to shut down Elliott and hope Prescott beats you. Not that Prescott's not good, but that's the way to beat the Cowboys is force Prescott to beat you.
Yeah, the experience there is he still needs
Yeah.
from come
He's
from
doesn't.
behind.
Yeah. I don't think he's been challenged too much so far. I know he had an awesome rookie year, but he plays behind a great line. He's got a great running back. So
And who'd you play last week?
I played Alex last week, and that was set up to be kind of a shootout. We were supposed to kind of be 1 and 2 in points, and I was very prepared to lose that game. I was certain I was going to go 0 and 2 after Murray didn't give me too many points. Hilton, a lot of my 1 o'clock games, there's like Hilton, Fitzgerald, Murray, and it was really only Brady who was doing really well. So by the time the 4 o'clock games were going, I was projected to lose by a decent amount. I thought I was going to lose, and then Carr and Crabtree connected for 3 touchdowns apiece. I looked like I was in better shape, and then as I'm punching back, he's coming right back, and Todd Gurley had a couple rushing touchdowns, and Emmanuel Sanders was catching touchdowns, and then once again I thought I was for sure going to lose. But what the really game-changing moment of my week was the Aqib Talib 100-yard pick 6 that boosted me up 12 more points for my defense. Then that was the first time I was projected to win.
Oh wow, yep.
And then by the time the Sunday night games rolled around, I was a little worried. He had Cobb, Nelson, and Ryan. I was like, all right, I just need those guys to not really bust out. And then Nelson kind of got an off the ball injury really early in the game, and that was kind of the it for the matchup and for Alex there. So it was unfortunate that he didn't kind of get to go in full strength, but
Yeah, he's banged up with Jordan Cobb.
Andrew Luck too.
Andrew
He's
Luck.
got Andrew Luck. He has a good team. It's just
They all need to play
he's
together.
been battling a lot of injuries. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know how long Nelson and Cobb are going to be out.
No, I haven't got anything about that yet, so I'm certain he's eyeing that.
What
I'm
about your
eyeing.
matchup last week? That was with Josh.
Yeah. So off to a rough start. Right off the back with Dalton had 9 points on Thursday night.
Ouch.
It was just another week with Dalton, and it's only been 2.
Hmm.
Um, No, Josh was winning for most of the day, and then I was down by a good amount. I was projected to be the lowest scoring team until Freeman and Montgomery literally scored
Yeah, I
the
was worried
first
about your
three.
team too. I thought you were gonna go 0-2 with another low scoring.
Yeah, Freeman and Montgomery scored the first three touchdowns in the
That
Sunday Night
was
Football
big.
game. I was like, okay,
Hmm.
well, finally in this game. And then I was down, what, 20 points for Monday night with Stafford and Tate.
The thing with, yeah,
And Stafford
right.
only threw 4 passes in the second half.
Yeah,
Everyone
we were
knows
watching the game.
it's
Yeah.
garbage time fourth quarter.
Oh yeah.
And, like, that was just unpredictable. But I still pulled away with it, so I was happy.
And if I remember, Josh's team didn't have a bad. I don't think any individual really had a bad week. It's
No,
just I don't think anyone really busted out.
it was so weird. Everyone scored over 10 points, but, like,
Right.
no one
I think
scored
I
more than
remember
20.
seeing that. Yeah.
Antonio Brown had, like, 11 points. Not the top guy
Right.
you would expect to
And now
carry.
is Josh 0-2?
Yeah, he's the only
Yeah,
0-2.
Josh is 0-2, but I guess some advice to Josh here is I think your team's good, and definitely on paper your team's good. I think they're going to turn it around soon. I think you're going to start maybe winning some more games. But don't hit the panic button yet. I don't think it's time for you to unload. I think you just got to be patient. That's what I would say to Josh.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It is way
Because he's
too
got a
early to
good
make
roster. I
drastic.
don't
He
really think
does. He does.
has any holes yet. He's lucky. I don't think he's gotten bit by the injury bug yet.
No, he doesn't even. He doesn't have holes. It's just balance. It's just a balanced team all
Yeah,
around.
I think his running backs are fine, and that was originally what he thought was his weak point. But Fournette
And
and
prove me
Lynch,
wrong.
they've been good. Those guys are going to be kind of
It's
double digit
quarterback play.
scorers every week. That's very important for him. I don't know if he's got a third QB.
He does.
I don't know. I
It's not
mean,
gonna. I can't think of the top of my head, but not gonna start.
I think he picked up Jared Goff.
Yeah, it was. I thought that wasn't you. So
Well, I
that was you.
drafted Goff. Then I dropped him for
Oh,
Alex
then he
Smith.
does have him then.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's probably the worst part of his team right now is his quarterbacks.
Yeah, which is not bad to have
Yeah,
with Mariota and Cousins.
yeah, I'd like to think those guys turn it around, but I don't know. You
Team I've been most impressed with so far is Teach's.
know, I would agree, and I'm playing them this week.
You're gonna have a tough matchup.
I think so too.
I mean, I know we talked about Russell Wilson being kind of disappointing, but I feel like he's gonna turn around soon
Let me
enough.
get
The
those matchups
Seahawks always
for you.
do. Seahawks always do. Um, he's got Julio, Jarvis Landry
Yep.
against the Jets. Michael Thomas, who is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But what's more impressive is Kareem Hunt,
Yeah.
Dalvin
He's
Cook, and even McCaffrey. I would say in a
Kareem
PPR
Hunt has
setting,
definitely been the most standout guy in fantasy so far.
number one.
Right.
Number one.
It's clear. It's not even really a debate. When he put up 45 the first week, 25 the second week, and he's someone I definitely don't want to play against. And they're playing against the Chargers this week.
And even think about this. Think about this. Teach has DeAndre Hopkins and Adam Thielen on the bench.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's very Deshaun Jackson too. He's very deep at receiver.
I know rumors fly. I'm sure someone's been calling about it for one of his receivers, saying when he needs
Yeah,
help.
anybody
I'm
needs
sure.
receivers.
Have you gotten any rumors?
I haven't personally really been in talks with anyone about any trades. But I know that you've kind of been involved with a few different people.
James White's been a hot commodity. Those listening, please let's hear the offers. I've already had 3 or 4 teams inquire, ask about James White.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, trades are gonna happen. There's always a team or two that has like depth. Like Teach has the receivers. Brian has quarterbacks depth. I have running back depth. I mean, I got Bell, Freeman, Montgomery, and James White.
Right, I think different teams kind of have different things that they can expend. So
Absolutely, it's like if I wanted the tight end. I mean, I'm sure there's someone out there with a top tight end and swap with James White. I mean, that needs running back help, and that trade can be done in
who
an
do you
instant.
think that you might kind of work with on a trade here?
Like specifically, or like just
Yeah,
in gen.
or
Um,
I don't know.
I'm really. I know Josh does have Delaney Walker, and I've always been a big fan of him.
I think Josh would be the type
Oh,
to trade too.
and we've traded last year,
Right.
and we beat that Gurley trade to death. Last a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I think he'd be willing to work something out.
yeah, it would be nice to get. Because if I'm not gonna use him, you might as well lose him. You know, you might as well get. I mean,
Fair.
even Montgomery I could use for bye weeks,
Hmm.
and like just plug in a receiver in the flex because I got Snead coming back. I've held on to him, so I mean I could have used that roster spot for something else, but I've held on to him as like almost an investment
Snead's coming back week
after this.
4.
Yeah, so
Okay.
after this week,
Yeah. We'll
um,
see how that works out.
I'm curious. But overall, I mean, Brian's in first place right now.
Is he the only 2-0 team?
He's the only two
He
and O
is,
team.
yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of points,
Well, his
but
points against is pretty low.
yeah, it's lower.
I
It's
mean, he
lower
played
by
me week 1. I had a terrible week 1. I had like 119 points. And then
Janko, right?
Jenko week 2. Jenko had a kind of a rough week
Janko's had
2.
a rough start. Janko's
He,
probably.
he has had a rough
I
start.
know he's 1-1, but he's probably had the roughest start out of anyone.
I would agree with that.
Uh,
And traditionally, he's strong drafter, strong team, but he definitely is kind of off to a little bit of a rough start here. And I
yeah,
think,
I mean,
you
I'm.
know, I mean, Rodgers he hasn't been bad or anything so far, but I don't think he's scored he's already thrown interceptions in both games, which isn't
Right,
necessarily
that's
Rodgers
crazy.
like. I think,
Problem is, he just has so many question marks. I don't know where I'm getting the star power. I should be getting the star power from Rogers and McCoy, but I haven't gotten it so far. Well,
how's
I shouldn't
McCoy
have
been
I.
this year?
I mean, the Bills have been just one of those teams we said we were struggling. I mean, 20 points was good week 1, obviously, and you know they lose 9-3 week 2 against Carolina.
Yeah, that's tough.
And he gets 10 points. I mean, that's what we talk about the success of teams. I mean, if you can't get down the field, because you always need the pass. If you don't have a good quarterback going, these running backs are gonna get hurt. They only one time ever a running back has carried a team to the playoffs. That's Adrian Peterson off his MVP season.
Hmm.
That's the only time. That's not gonna happen again. And if you're expecting it to happen, you're just gonna lose every week.
Yeah, and I think the thing with his team there is that you need to rely on your top guys at each position. And now for him, that's Rodgers, that's McCoy, that's Terrell Pryor, and those guys kind of aren't getting off to the starts that I think Janko was kind of hoping for.
Now I
And
see
I
Prime
know
on the bench.
Terrell Pryor's definitely gotten off to kind of a weak start. In Washington, we mentioned already that their offense really kind of has been struggling. But yeah, Pryor's really got to pick it up if to even stay. I think in Janko's starting lineup.
Right, right. Um, he just had it's just a lot of question marks. He has good players, but they might falter for during a week.
Yeah.
Like, I think he need a little more consistent star
Who's he
power.
playing this week?
Janko's playing.
Let's see if he can kind of get back.
I think it's Alex.
Oh, okay.
That's a tight.
Well, I mean that could be nothing against Alex's team, just because Alex is kind of battling some injuries. This could be a good opportunity for Janko to kind of get into the win column.
Yeah, Janko has. If he wanted to play anyone this week, it's probably Alex. Like you
Right,
said. I
just
mean,
kind
if
of
Cobb
because
and
of
Nelson are out, I don't know if they're going to be, but if they're
yeah,
out,
that definitely hurts his team.
um, and Jordan Howard, Alex has Jordan Howard too, right?
Yeah,
So that's a lot of injuries to deal
it
with.
is.
Very unfortunate. Um,
And now someone who's kind of done pretty well in the face of some injuries is actually Nick's team.
yeah,
Nick lost some pretty top guys. With David Johnson out, with Allen Robinson out, and he's lucky Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, I know he didn't really do much week 2, but he's lucky Ezekiel Elliott's not currently suspended right now.
yeah. I mean, if
Or
you,
else, or else, I don't know what his
he's
team would be. Now, luckily, and I know I called him out for this, and I take it back.
oh yeah,
C.J. Anderson's playing great so far, and that's really been like huge to his team.
He got pretty ripped for that, C.J. Anderson. No one
Yeah.
believed him at the draft.
I probably laughed.
No one believed, and just been proving us all wrong. I mean, Sammy Watkins. We can still get him on that.
Can I see that? What has Sammy Watkins had so far this year?
He's 10.8 and 5 classics.
10-5.
Pretty
Okay.
classic.
And then I know DeAndre Hopkins has had double digits both weeks. Just putting that out there just to keep
It's
an
funny
update.
how he's on the bench. Though.
I don't know what'll happen. It's only week 2, but but no, Nick's team has been doing pretty well in the face of some of the injuries he's had to deal with so far. So he's done a good job with that. Oh, who's he playing this week?
He's playing Josh in a
That's a good game.
pretty important game.
That is an important game.
Might
I think those are two evenly matched teams.
That might be the game of the week.
That is an interesting game.
If Josh goes 0-3,
And that game really changes, I think, the tempo of the year. If Josh starts off 0-3, that's kind of his season's obviously not over, but that's a tough hole to come out of.
that's very tough,
to
especially
start off the year.
So there's 14 weeks in the regular season. He loses 0-3, so he has 11 left.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to go like 7-3 the whole.
Right.
I mean,
He's got to win 3 games
7-4
back in a
the whole
row
way.
just to be 500, and that's you never want to be
no.
crawling out from behind like that. And that would be kind of a big swing for Nick, kind of to go 2-1. He's got I think a decent amount of points scored this year.
Yeah, it's still all pretty close, which is nice so far.
Teach, I know, kind of stands out a little bit in the points for. Am I right?
Yeah, he's in the lead right now,
By like a decent amount,
20.
Right?
Josh is
Okay.
actually second. That's why he shouldn't panic. Josh is actually
No,
second
I
in
know.
points.
That's what I'm saying. Is he's scoring the points.
Very unfortunate
now,
start.
I know. I also agree, but Josh is someone who really fought for not giving the money to the guy with the most points.
Oh
So
boy.
it'll be interesting if he misses the playoffs and has the most points or something.
That would suck.
I mean, I'm sure he won't miss the playoffs. He ends up having the most points.
that
That's
never
hard.
happens.
That's hard to do.
I don't think it's
But
ever
he
happened.
could come and get the 4 seed and lose to the 1. But I mean, I fought for the same thing. But just saying.
Yeah, no. Everyone knows the risk. Everyone knows the rules.
Yeah, everyone knows the rules.
Brian, we said Brian was 2-0, and I actually play him this week.
That's an
What
important
if Brian
game
goes
too.
3-0?
That is a very important game because you're right. That's huge in itself because then that's a great start.
If Brian goes 3-0 after the ragging he got
Yeah,
in this offseason, that
and
would be interesting.
who did Brian? Brian played Janko. That's an impressive start playing. I mean, nothing against not to talk ourselves up or anything, but playing you, me, and Janko to start the year going 3-0. That's big.
Oh wow,
That's impressive.
That would be something. I mean, that's how you know
That's
things change.
huge, yeah.
Things change. I know you and Janko put awful weeks up against him.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was an
You put what,
embarrassing
a
week.
buck 19?
119. I don't remember the last time I scored really under like 140. I think it was probably like my worst week last year.
Week 1 was so bad.
Week 1 was bad by pretty much everyone.
Everyone
Even
except Teach.
Teach only still had like 170 or something.
He had
like
180,
that.
I think.
Oh, okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
But even like 160s, you kind of expect to lose sometimes scoring 160s.
160, yeah. I
You know what I
expect
mean? It's pretty much 178 or some high 170s and up might get you a win. 170s is kind of depends on your opponent, but
160. I actually almost expect to lose.
so do I. Yeah.
Really?
No one scored 200 this year yet.
No. And we've always had like a team break
Right.
out
Usually,
early.
I think
Never
kind of
happened.
once a week, someone kind of busts out.
Hasn't happened yet. And that shows the balance in the league.
Yeah, that's definitely. The league's definitely very balanced.
We said it was going to be.
We
I
did
think
say that.
if there's anything we've been saying throughout these episodes, it's been this league's gonna be balanced. People are gonna be following it.
It's going to be
and
competitive.
It's exactly
Yep, it's
what's
what
been
we
happening.
expected. Yeah.
Exactly what's been happening.
And the draft was. We haven't talked on this since before the draft, but the draft was kind of what I expected. People came prepared, and everyone kind of showed up. I thought everyone did a pretty decent job on draft day. At the end of the day on the draft, obviously, things have changed now that it's week 2 and you kind of figured some guys out. But on the day of the draft, I like couldn't tell who the best and worst teams were. And like I
No,
wasn't, last year at the end of the day on my draft, I was like, I have a really good team. The end of the day this year, I was like, I
I
don't
was
know.
concerned.
I was a little, yeah. I was like, I don't know. My team, I'm okay with it. I'm happy enough with it, but I wasn't like thrilled about it.
Yeah.
And there was no one's
No.
team. I didn't look around. There's some teams that I thought were good and some teams that I thought were better than others. But there was no team that if it was mine, I'd be like jumping up and down.
It just no one stands out to me. And like no play like Kareem Hunt obviously is like one, but like I know he'll be good for the whole year. I don't know if he's gonna be number one
When did he
or
get drafted?
I can figure that out right now.
I should do like a control find or something.
Yeah, whoops, I actually no, I don't want to do a draft,
No, that's fine.
but I mean I almost did a mock draft. I'll get it right here. Um, it wasn't high, I'll tell you that. Round 13.
Well, and you know what? I think he's like for real. I don't think it's just the first 2 weeks. Like we saw him play against New England, and he, after that first fumble on his first play, he looked very, very legit. So I think he's going to be a top 10 fantasy player this year. Maybe.
Actually,
I mean,
he
as
could
far as
be.
position players go,
I just want to stop for a second and just look at round 15. I know it's week 2,
sure.
or going to week 3.
Okay.
Terrence West, Rob Kelly, James White, Zach Ertz, Jermaine Kearse, Adam Thielen, Chris Hogan, Randall Cobb.
That
That
could be one of the rounds we look back on at the end of the year and we're like, wow.
that is unbelievable. That's unbelievable. That round 15.
We should take a quick look at round 4 because isn't that traditionally
Traditionally, always a
like a
cursed round.
crappy round?
All right, so we got Matt Ryan.
Probably been fine so
He's
far.
fine. Doug Baldwin, disappointing.
Yeah,
I'd say. Yep.
Yeah.
McCaffrey,
Okay.
he's had like 10
He's
points
okay,
a game. Yeah, it's okay. Devontae Adams, good last week, but you never know what you're gonna get from him.
Yeah, it's obviously early to tell, but
DeMarco Murray,
a little disappointing.
yeah, you could speak for that. Leonard Fournette, he's like pretty good so far.
Yeah.
He's getting his reps in.
Better than I thought.
Same, me and you were both not very high on him.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
kind of
sometimes I'm
trashed
just
the pick a little
skeptical of
bit.
some of the rookie running backs, but it works out for Teach, so
Demarius Thomas,
I think he's been
he's just
okay.
there,
He's
right?
That's Nick's team, right?
Yeah,
He's been good, I think.
yeah,
Ish. Probably double digits, but like not 20.
yeah. And Mariota, a little disappointing.
A little disappointing. It could end up being one of the. I don't know yet. It's early.
Yeah, it's just way too early. But it was just funny to see the round 15, just looking up Hunt and just seeing round 15 just stood out. I mean, a lot of good guys there that are starting.
Yeah, for sure. Has anyone? Have there been any free agents that got picked up that were like have had a big impact so far?
There has to be. I'm figuring because
Right, because a lot of the guys who have been good so far have kind of been some of the unexpecteds.
there's been so many moves.
Have been a lot of moves.
There's been so many moves. Let's go down the list here. I know Chris Thompson had a good game last, but he might actually think he was picked up during the day, so he hasn't been on any team.
Yep. Yeah, I think I remember that.
Jason Witten has not played. You know he leads the league in catches.
I'm not surprised. I know he's doing
Jason Witten,
really, really, really well so far.
crazy stat from there. I actually just saw that today. Couldn't believe it. I mean, I know maybe Brian's probably been satisfied with Tariq Cohen for Chicago.
Oh, that's true. That's a big.
That's probably-
It's only going to be a better pickup now that Howard's hurt. So
He also got Terrence West. I'll give him that.
yeah, he's been playing well.
Classic Brian strategy, though.
No.
Yeah, search.
Yeah.
But other than that, some good players, I'd say, but nothing like. No one's gone like, oh my god, I got the top 3 guy.
It's early to tell. We'll find out soon. There could be someone picked up that hasn't even, broken out fully yet. So
Right.
it definitely is young so far in the year, but it's definitely been interesting. I think there's been a lot of telling things so far. And I
Mm,
think we're already starting to find out a little about some of the strengths and weaknesses of all the teams.
yeah. Um, and the trade rumors, nothing. No one's done anything yet. But
It's
I know
early,
there's been
but you,
talks.
you know what? Yeah,
There's
it's
been some
definitely early. But you
serious
know what?
talks.
I think there's going to be a trade before, could be more than one trade before week, 4 gets underway or week 5 gets underway.
You think there will be a trade
I
happen
think
before week 5? You think so?
before week 5, I think a trade will be made. I really do
Hmm.
think so. Yeah,
I think so too.
and I think once the first trade
I agree.
kind of goes out there, I think there might be some people might follow suit.
It's like everyone's feeling each other out right now.
Was there only one trade all of last year? Was it just the you and Josh trade?
Josh,
Josh and Brian might have had a small one. There's going to be.
I know they
I
talked at
guess my
least.
point is, I think there's definitely going to be more trades this year than there was last year. I don't think there's going to be like a crazy amount or anything
Well,
like
if the
that.
if the top players keep playing like this, there should be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can't rely on your consistent starting lineup, moves will be
Yeah,
made.
yeah,
No doubt
and
about that.
more things are going to be found out soon. Other guys will get hurt, so we'll see.
Um, yeah, the week 3. I wouldn't say a critical week, but definitely one to keep eye of on. I probably the most important game, like we said, Josh, Nick.
Definitely,
Josh is probably
definitely,
most.
definitely.
Josh is winning.
Brian and Josh's weeks are the most important because you're looking at someone who could go 0-3, and you're looking at someone else who could go 3-0, and I think those are really big because that's when it comes into the next game can't get you at 500. After
Mm,
being
yeah.
after week 2, you can bring yourself back even, but
Yeah, this is the
kind of
week.
this is the point where you could be 1-2, 2-1, but yeah, you don't want these teams to go. You don't want to be 0-3 for Josh because that is a bad place to be.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to hit on?
Um, not really. I think we kind of touched a little bit about kind of where all the other teams are at so far, so we
Yeah.
can kind of move on.
Um, I guess I know before in the off season podcast we do what's going on in the sports world and trend. For in season, I think we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna do the best slash worst moments of the week. And what I mean by worst, it could also mean unfortunate. So like
Hmm.
if you just hit some bad luck,
Yeah,
man, that you'll be all over that.
and I think that kind of happens. There's one in every week. There's your very unfortunate moment that happens in every week, and there's kind of that person that made that really great decision. So I think that'll be really fun to kind of highlight each week.
Yeah, in this case we'll just do I think we'll just do for the first 2 weeks because we skipped the week 1 podcast, so
Yeah, we
um
can have one for week 1 and 2.
yeah, we might as well just
Sorry, I'm laughing because of the soundbite we're about to use.
it's
So
a test. And now today's most unfortunate slash bad moment of the week belongs to
for weeks 1 and 2,
weeks 1 and 2 have belonged to Nick and his injuries. Nick, sorry to tell you, but David Johnson and Allen Robinson, that's extremely rough. I definitely feel you on that. I mean, I've seen guys who had Jamal Charles when he was in his prime, week 1, go out with the torn ACL. Um, you can hold on to the IRs. Hopefully, it works out for you. But and we were even talk about the injuries before. David Johnson's definitely one tough pill to swallow. Um, I only
no,
hope
it's definitely
because
been
I wanted him
very.
bad, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
know how much I wanted him.
that was definitely probably the most unfortunate part of the first 2 weeks was Nick's injuries. And I know I talked about how he's kind of done well on the face of it, but that has definitely been the most unfortunate thing is David Johnson going down because that was, I think, number one on a lot of guys' boards, and he's not like he's out for a couple weeks; he's out for this season. And
Basically till Christmas. That's yeah.
yeah,
That's basically the fantasy season.
right. And Allen Robinson, he's out for.
Yeah, and he could have been a very good player as well. You
Yeah, that
know,
was Nick's number 2 receiver. So that was.
Sammy Watkins gonna have to step up, and
Oh yeah,
C.J. Anderson.
oh yeah,
Funny how that works out.
yeah. It works out. You can either prove himself right or prove me and Mike right. So
And C.J. Anderson was a good decision, but I would think we can agree on that the best decision of the week, or both weeks, we should say, belongs to Teach for drafting Kareem Hunt and starting him both weeks.
Samuel Adams, always a good decision.
Thank you, Sam. He has, I think, like 75 points, and I think
it
second
was like
place is
45 and 25.
yeah, he's
So it was like
something
60
70,
points.
60, 70 points. I know Montgomery's like second with 49, so he's clearly kicking everyone's butt.
Oh yeah.
And
And the
he is,
fact that he has had him in the starting lineup,
yeah, that was a
that was
great
a
decision.
great decision. That's
Always a
why
good
he's got our
decision.
good decision in week 1 and 2. Doesn't get much better than that.
I mean, Teach leads the points
I don't know if I would have
because
started
of
him. I
him.
would have been, hesitant to put him in my lineup. I think that's probably something I don't think on draft day was in his starting lineup. That's something he made the decision to do kind of probably on the day before the game against the Patriots, and then it was kind of an easy decision to make for week 2
It's
to
a
leave
rookie
him in the
running back
lineup. But
too.
yeah, that was a very bold decision and our best decision of week 1 and 2.
Absolutely. Gonna look forward to what happens this week. Some unfortunate or bad moves and
A
the
lot of
best
great
decision.
matchups.
Nico, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
It's been a month since we've done this, so
Yeah.
it was good to get back into it.
No, I'm looking forward to kind of keeping this consistent again.
Yeah, I'll try to keep a consistent schedule. Try and do it every week, and we'll keep going from there. See how each week plays out. It's gonna be interesting to see what we talk about
Yeah,
throughout
I'm
future
very
weeks.
excited.
This podcast is gonna be on the YouTube channel once again, the horizontal. It'll be linked onto the Twitter page, the horizontal once again. Whoever comes on basically is going to be on availability. If you want to come on, if you have some stuff to say, let the horizontal know. We'll get an episode in. Generally, these episodes are going to be around 30 to 40 minutes. We'll try to keep it around there. But that's it for tonight. Thanks for listening.